Hello everyone and welcome to another Elliott analysis. Today I want to talk about Microsoft and why I think the price will half again, right, to around $213. Now let's begin with the weekly chart of Microsoft. Over here you can see that I'm showing you a weekly chart, right? And over here it actually starts on the bottom of the great financial crisis, right? And that is March 2009. So this entire move up itself, right, is one big cycle wave, right? And over here, take note that you are looking at the logarithmic chart, okay? The logarithmic chart. Over here, I will not waste too much time on the wave count, the breakdown for the first four wave, right? But over here, you can see the red labeling where I label wave 1, right, that ends on around April 2010, right? So this is slightly 1 year, right? And then a short wave 2 that ended on around end of May 2011. Then we have one huge run all the way for wave 3, right? That lasted 10 years, okay? And that is almost November 2021. Then we have a wave 4, right? That is November 2022. That has also lasted for 1 year. Now, over here you can see that I have drawn this purple color trend line, right? So this I have labeled as logarithmic longer term trend line, right? So this trend line actually stretch for the entire period of this cycle level bull run, okay? Right. I will talk about the green color one later, okay? But this is important because over here, let's zoom in a bit. And what you can see is that currently, right, as of this February 2026, right, we have actually already broken this trend line, okay? This logarithmic trend line over here, okay? Now, zooming in to this last wave 5, cycle level wave 5, you see that for the black color one, I have also labeled um, this wave 1, right? This is the Branbury level, so 1 degree lower, right? Wave 1, wave 2, right? Wave 3, wave 4, and then a wave 5 that ended actually in end July 2025. That is last year, right? So one thing you can take note, and that is where I can bring up this fractal nature of waveform, is that you see that wave 1 is short, wave 2 is short, right? At the cycle level, wave 3 is very long, right? Wave 4 is longer, and then we have a wave 5, right? That is quite normal, and that is on the cycle level. And if you look at the black color primary level for wave 5, you see that wave 1 and wave 2 are also short, right? Then we have a much longer wave 3, right? A longer wave 4 compared to wave 2, and then we have a wave 5 that looks a bit more normal, right? So let me zoom out for a while for you to study this fractal nature of this entire Microsoft wave, right? Compare the cycle level wave 1 with the primary level wave 1, and then compare wave 2 with wave 2. For here, we are looking at the duration as well as the length, right? Wave 3 is still the longest wave, right? Wave 4 is slightly longer than this wave 2, right? Same here. And then we have a final wave 5 that looks more normal in terms of time and duration. Okay, now that you have got into this, right, and you have clearly seen this wave, now we can take a look at the daily chart. Moving down to the daily chart, you see that I've drawn slightly more items over here, right? So over here, you may look at this blue color trend line. Now, this blue color trend line is what I label as a shorter, logarithmic shorter term trend line, right? So for this trend line itself, right, I actually started December 2018, right? So this is one trend line over here, right, that touches 1, 2, 3 points. And if I zoom in this, right, you see that we have also breached this shorter term trend line, right? So this is also the logarithmic. So in terms of the logarithmic trend line, right, the purple one is the one that you see on the weekly, right? So this is a longer term. The blue one is the shorter term. So we actually breach two trend lines, right? Two trend lines over here, right? So this breakdown to me signals that the the price direction for Microsoft is now down, and I usually like to take the previous um, level wave 4 as a target, and over here is 213.43. So this is why I think that Microsoft, right, from this price will almost half again. Okay, now talking about trend line already, right, we look at the Fibonacci, right. Over here you see that I have one green color one. I'll talk about the green color one first. Right, the green color one is where I use wave 1, right, this primary wave 1, right. So this is a wave 1 of cycle 5, cycle level wave 5, right, wave 1, black color one, right. And then I pull this length to the bottom of wave 4. Okay, and you can see that the target at 4.236 is almost reached. Okay, so this is where, if you have reached this level, you are looking for a resistance here, and it almost reaches the target here, right? So this gives us a bit more confidence that this is the top. Now the other Fibonacci, the purple one, is the more interesting one. Why? Because it give us the exact top, right, for Microsoft. Let's look at this purple one itself, right. I'm using the wave 5 of 5 itself, right. So I'm using the wave 1, okay, the wave 1. So this is the blue color, is the intermediate wave, okay, intermediate wave of this last wave here. By using this wave 1, right, this is the clearest wave here, right, and then I project across this entire wave, this entire 5 wave, right. I actually got an exact hit at 4.236. That gives me a 556 target. And over here, right, what is the top for Microsoft, right, is actually 555.45, a miss of around 55 cents. Okay, right, but graphically you can see that this price itself, right, is actually a good indication of the top, right, because we have two Fibonacci resistance over here, and it did move down, right. And since here, right, this top is the 31st of July 2025, right, until now February, right, we are almost, let me see, uh August, September, October, November, December, right, we have more than 6 months, right, since Microsoft has come down, right, and now they've broken this trend line. So then my target, as I said, is actually here, this bottom here, which is the bottom of wave 4, 213.43. Now, some of you who have not used this logarithmic chart, you may say that, this may not really be the breakdown, and that is why now I will talk about this arithmetic trend line. So in TradingView, if you go to the bottom here, you click away this logarithmic, it gives you this arithmetic display of the chart, right, and this is what most of you will be using, right, but longer term, right, it doesn't really give you a good indication of where the waves are, right, which is why I use the logarithmic. Okay, but if you look at this arithmetic chart, the normal chart, you can see that actually you are at a support right here. Okay, you are at support, right. So this is what I will be going through, which is the alternate view, right. What if this entire picture, the logarithmic picture, is wrong, right? What could actually have happened, right? So you must always have a backup plan, right? What if you are wrong? And now I'm talking about what if I'm wrong. Firstly, right, is this arithmetic chart. You have this arithmetic trend line, okay? So this is one support, right? The next one I'm talking about will be the technical oscillator, right? So over here you can see that actually price have already started, the RSI itself, right, has already started to make a higher reading, right, even though price is still near the low, right? So there is a chance that we may move up because of these two reasons: the technical reason, and of course the technical oscillator reason, and also this trend line reason. Okay, now the last I'm going to talk about is why I think that Microsoft is going down. I have a bias, right? So recently, if you have been a Windows user, you know how many updates has been coming to your Windows OS, right? And I personally, being a long time Windows user, I'm really getting quite pissed with all this update, especially when one of the updates, right, actually broke my start button, right? I couldn't really use the start. I couldn't search for any of my documents or my apps, right? So I think that fundamentally there is really something wrong with Windows. Of course, some of you may take out a financial sense and say that Windows itself as a OS is only less than 10% of the entire Microsoft business model. Okay, but I think that is irrelevant, right? Because the experience given to Windows user, right, and of course all the entire suite of product that it has, right, is already tarnished, right? So this is where I talk about my personal bias, right, and things outside of technical analysis, right? You may not agree with me, right? But I'm just sharing my thoughts on this, right? So lastly, let me bring you back to this logarithmic chart again, right? Because this is what I use as my basis for this analysis. And I think that this is a short. Okay, and also if you have followed me, you know that I have recently published this Nasdaq short idea, right? So these are all coming together, right? And Microsoft being a huge component of Nasdaq, right, in itself, right, means that I'm actually supplementing my Nasdaq crash idea with a very important and heavy component, which is Microsoft. And I think that both of them will go down. Okay, so that's it for my analysis today, and good luck for your trading. Thank you.